So our final speaker is Vanshi Mehta. She is a passionate and confident speaker and has participated in numerous national events, including the Rotary Youth Speakers Competition, the Young Citizen Trials and MACE. In addition, she has been a dedicated and enthusiastic member of the debate team since year 7, participating in, winning and hosting several successful debates. Known for her hard-working nature, Vanshi will now share her talk, Overthinking, the Silent Saboteur of Progress.
Overthinking is the new epidemic in our society. It starts small, as it always does. How many of us find ourselves replaying conversations from earlier that day, rereading a message 10 times before sending it to ensure it's perfect, losing sleep over a tiny fumble that happened yesterday. These small moments stack up in our daily lives, and suddenly we've built a pit for ourselves, a trap we can't escape. It's not just you. Over 70% of Generation Z have admitted that they overthink frequently. We've all been there, rethinking our every move and refusing to act before thinking. We stay stuck in the past, but it's time to move forward today. Today, we're going to look at the concept of overthinking, the detrimental impacts it can have, why we overthink, and what we can do to save ourselves from overthinking in the future. Before we start, let's delve into what overthinking actually is. The definition of overthinking is to think about something for too much or too long, disproportionately to the effect it will have in the future. However, many others describe it as the art of creating problems that were never there. Overthinking always concerns the past or the future and never is truly in the present, so it robs you of the reality that we truly live in. The difference between thinking and overthinking is very subtle, but very crucial to our lives. Thinking is the art of sparking new ideas, making neurological connections in our mind. It enables us to create innovative ideas, be creative, and most importantly, be curious. But overthinking is more like a loop. We are constantly stuck in a mental loop because we can't escape, and we refuse to... Overthinking is more like a loop. We are stuck and never reach a resolution, mainly because we can't. This is the difference. One leads to action and the other to paralysis. My next question for us today is, why do we overthink? The main reason in our current day is stress. Stress from your work, from those around you, and internal stress causes you to be dilated in fear and only think instead of act. The most important type of stress is internal stress, and this concerns things like self-confidence and self-esteem, and can be resolved by using things like meditation and mindfulness exercises. Even being aware of the fact you have internal stress can help you lower the overthinking you do. The other main factor in overthinking is awareness. Now more than ever, we're aware of what other people think of us and how others perceive us. From me standing here today, you can tell a lot about me from my body gestures, my hand movements, and even my tone of voice. Now, because I'm aware of that and you're aware of that, we are both consciously thinking about this, and this leads us to enter this loop once again, and think and think and think. Now we know what overthinking is, we can look at the impacts it can have. Although there are very many detrimental impacts, we're only going to look at 3 today: decision paralysis, being overly analytical, and the need for reassurance. Firstly, one of the biggest impacts of overthinking is the inability to make decisions. Known as decision paralysis, this is the direct result of weighing up your consequences too much and dramatizing the results. Even the highest members of our society face this problem. In a 2024 study done by HSBC, we found that over 28% of business leaders struggle to make decisions, even though they're paid to do this on a daily basis. They wondered if they should apply for something new or adopt a new strategy, and they thought, and they thought, and they thought. They thought for minutes, hours, weeks, months, and suddenly the deadline to apply was gone. Do we as a society want to be repeating this pattern and never resolving the problem we all have? Secondly, Another major consequence of overthinking is being overly analytical. When we enter the process of overthinking, we believe we'll reach a solution. We believe we'll find out what will happen tomorrow or what the other person thought of us in the conversation. I used to think being overly analytical meant you were smart, you were observant, and you saw what no one else saw. But now I realize it's a fear in disguise. When we enter analytics and it reaches no definite end, we're once again voluntarily entering the spiraling loops of thoughts. No conclusion can be made, just a series of tangled up thoughts that no one can pull apart, not even yourself. The final impact we're going to look at is the need for reassurance. Often, it's easy to assume the worst. We convince ourselves that one fumble will ruin our reputation forever, or one awkward conversation will destroy a friendship we've spent years building. But that's never the case. However, if no one addresses these fears, they still linger in someone's mind. Reassurance helps people see the reality of a situation and pulls them out of the warped world they live in. However, we do not always see these fears in others. This is why genuine positive affirmations are so valuable in our society today. It allows others to see a glimpse of the truth on the other side and stops them from continuing this endless pattern of thoughts. Now, I assume you're all terrified of overthinking and the detrimental effects it can have. So, let's look at how we can address the problem. The first method is the most effective method in my opinion. Act. That's it. There's no complicated pathway or 5-step process you have to take. Just act. Acting is the best way to move forward, turn your fear into momentum, and act towards your hopes, dreams, and goals. It empowers you, and it allows you to actually make progress as a society or as an individual. So, if you ever find yourself in that loop, just act, no matter how big or small. The second method is to ask and recognize, how significant is this? Will this matter in 5 years, 10 years, in my future? As humans, we tend to exaggerate our memories to ourselves, and even if no one else notices them. Actually, a study done found that over 80% of what we remember from a conversation comes from what we said, and only a minor 20% comes from the other person. So, next time you fumble or make a mistake, ask yourself, is this really important enough to be in that minor 20% that someone else will remember? Your life is too short to waste on the opinions of others, and we really need to start moving forward once again. In summary, overthinking is a treacherous trait and dangerously capable of destroying your life forever. The actions we take and the mindset we adopt can make or break our peace, and our time is not worth trading for the spiraling loops of thoughts. Thank you for your time today, and I'd like to leave you with a quote. Overthinking will not change the past or control the future, but choosing to act just once can change everything.
Thank you, Vanshi. I think we sometimes hear today about maybe the older generations talking about the youth of not knowing, they don't know anything yet. They haven't got lived experience. They haven't gone out into the world, etc. But I tell you what, from those speeches tonight, I feel very safe knowing that, you five are going to be going into the world and hopefully making a massive change. So really well done. Can we give them a massive round of applause, please?